Hi everyone, this is Miss Thurman and this is your semester review. I'm going to go over it word for word and why the answer is the answer you should pick. I hope this helps you. All right, so a type of fracture that is common with children is called a green stick fracture. The bone will break and the other side will bend. And it's because children's bones are soft and a little bit pliable, so they will bend as they have trauma. So a type of fracture that's common with children is called a green stick fracture. The fracture that penetrates the skin is called an open fracture. It's the opposite of a closed fracture. An open fracture, think it is open because it breaks through the skin. And there you have an open wound. All right? A fracture that runs slanted to the axis of the bone is at an angle, and it's called an oblique fracture. An oblique fracture. A fracture where one end is broken and wedged into the other is called an impacted fracture because it pushes into the other part of the bone and it impacts that bone. All right? Now, muscles that have opposite functions are antagonistic. All right? That's the opposite of synergistic. Okay? So antagonistic have the opposite. Extender will extend like this. Levator will elevate they'll cause it to elevate, and the abductor takes it away from the midline. Think abduct is like take a child away. So abducting in a motion is taking away, and in result it would be the midline. All right. The muscle that draws the body away from the midline, we talked about that abductor, and that raises is the levator. The example of the acronym, think of acronyms. You take the first initial of each letter, or first letter out of each word and bring it into an abbreviation, and that's an acronym. HOSA, Health Occupation Students of America, is a great example of an acronym. So is CPR, and so is ICU, Intensive Care Unit. Those would be examples of acronyms. Eponyms are named after somebody, and so an example of that would be Marfan's disease. It is named after a man named Marfan. Teddy bear is named after Theodore Roosevelt. Those are examples of eponyms. Okay? And then the other way we get words is by word parts, where you can have a word root, a prefix, a suffix, and a combining vowel. So an example of a word root on your test would be something like endodontist. Endo within, dont is teeth, and is what a specialist or a practitioner of. So endodontist, you could actually break that word down and define it. All right, now let's look at some suffixes and prefixes we learned. Suffixes that mean softening, Malaysia. All right. A suffix that means condition of would be osis. Usually we associate that one with abnormal condition of, but that would mean osis, all right? A suffix that means disease would be pathy, all right? Pathy would be a suffix that means disease, all right? Now, a muscle that contracts or extends or stretches the body. Extends is a key word there. So think of extensor, all right? Has this extensor, okay? Key word. A muscle tumor. Break this word down. Myo is muscle, oma is tumor. Put it together, you have muscle tumor, all right? Tendinia is pain in the tendon. Think of dynia is pain. Myasthenia is weakness, all right? And tendinitis, itis always means inflammation, okay? Pain, so you'll have those on the test. Muscle weakness, okay, we talked about that being myasthenia, all right? Softening of the spine. Spondyle is spine. Malacia means softening. Put those two word parts together, you have spondylomalacia, all right? And that would mean softening of the spine. Arthrocentesis is a surgical incision or puncture to withdraw fluid from a joint. Arthro being joint. Usually we see that with the knee. Cephalgia, ceph is head, algia is pain, so that would be headache. All right? And chondromalacia, chondro is cartilage.
Mama's calling you, wants to see what.
And malacia is softening. So softening of the cartilage is chondromalacia. Okay. Separation. A prefix that means separation would be dis. Think of dislocation. All right? Dislocation is separation from the joint, the location of the joint that we're talking about. All right? A prefix that means new is neo. A prefix that means against is anti. Think of anti-war, anti-body, anti-crime. Those are all things that we're against. All right? A prefix that means healthy, good, and normal. Remember me saying you is good, you is normal, you is fine. So think you, EU, is normal, healthy, things you want to hear from your doctor. You, okay? A suffix that means study of would be ology. Think of biology, you're studying life. Psychology, you're studying the mind. Cardiology, you're studying the heart. Okay? Terminology, you're studying terms. All right? The suffix that means practitioner is Icean. Think of pediatrician. Think of obstetrician. All right? They're practicing pediatrics. They're practicing obstetrics. All right? The suffix that means one who studies is ologist. Microbiologist studies microbiology. All right? Cardiologist studies the heart. Okay? And the prefix that means bad or abnormal, mal. Kind of the same thing as in Spanish. If you feel bad in Spanish, you say mal. A prefix that means bad is mal. Okay? Prefix that means many, multi. Think of multitasking. That would be many. All right? The prefix that means below or deficient. Think of hypo, low, less than normal. All right? A prefix that means without is a or an. Anemia